means hello, good evening everyone. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. All of you are welcome to my channel. I appreciate all the love. I've been seeing plenty of views today and I like it, so you are all welcome to my channel. And according to my analytics, I'm having plenty more men than women, so all of you are welcome to my channel. Thank you so much. My name is Angela and I'm a lawyer based in Jos in Nigeria. Jos is in northern Nigeria and it's my favorite city in the whole wide world, and all of you are welcome to Jos. I want us to talk about passports and why the Nigerian passport is so weak. I mean, something happened to me and I felt like I had to do this vlog today. A few days ago, my colleague needed to make an impromptu trip to South Africa with her boss, only for her to find out that look at the time that it takes for her to apply for visa and all to go and process travel documents to go to South Africa. And she could not make that trip, even though it's a trip that was going to boost her professional profile, but she couldn't make it. But her boss, who is a Swedish national, did not need a visa in order to travel to South Africa. And I realized that it has a lot to do with the weakness of the Nigerian passport. So why are passports weak and why are some passports strong? It has been so bedeviling my mind. I was sad because the African, she's Nigerian, and she needed a passport to travel to South Africa within the same continent. But somebody from Europe does not need a visa to travel all over. Why the injustice? And I realized it has a lot to do with the perception of the people who are the nationals of that country. And let's face it, Nigerians, we have a lot to do about our image. At the moment, the strongest passport in the world is the passport of Japan. Secondly, I think it's the passport of South Korea, and then I can't even remember the third one. But in Africa, the strongest passport is that of Seychelles, followed by that of Mauritius and South Africa. Nigeria, we actually rank in the world, we're among the bottom 20. In Africa, we're among the bottom 10. In the world, we're in the same company with Somalia, Ethiopia, Somalia, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. Those are the people that are at the bottom 20, and Nigeria is there. In Africa, we're in the same with Congo Brazzaville. The two Congos actually are below. Then Nigeria is like number 10 or so from the bottom. Something is fundamentally wrong with our passport regime and why the Nigerian passport is perceived to be weak. But not only is it perceived to be weak, the Nigerian passport is indeed weak. The ranking that they use by Hinleys is based on the number of countries that will allow you to come visa free or with visa on arrival. And Nigeria, we're only entitled to enter about 46 countries thereabouts visa free, but or visa on arrival. But more often than not, in most countries, if you want to go now, you are going to have to go with a visa, and that includes South Africa. I don't know whether South Africans need a visa in order to come to Nigeria. There was a time under Goodluck's regime, they were saying that any restriction that a country places on Nigerian nationals, which will place the same restriction on their country. But Nigeria, being Nigeria, only God knows, because I remember then there was a diplomatic row between Nigeria and South Africa where they were saying that Nigerians, before you enter South Africa, you must come with yellow fever vaccine. And we too will now impose our own HIV restrictions. Say before you come, you must come with HIV test or something like that. I remember there was a diplomatic row like that. And we were proud of Goodluck Jonathan for at least standing up for Nigerians. Okay? Now like this, everywhere you turn, even India of backyard, India that were dancing for us which day. Now they said that they can just sit down, round up Nigerians and escort them out of the country without paying. You will not even give a reason. What is the name of this country? The UAE, the same thing. You just sit down, impose new visa regimes, and then you single-handed, you pick on Nigerians and say Nigerians like this, Nigerians like that. So the way, if you listen to other Africans talking about it, they will say something like they are chasing Nigerians everywhere. They are chasing Nigerians everywhere. It has a lot to do with the fact that our government does not stand up for us. When you do something like that to Nigerian citizens, what does the government do? Okay, let us say, okay, God forbid bad thing, no, all of them they are doing bad things. Are you telling me that there's no court that you can try them? It is just to embarrass the entire country like that. But because the government has stood by and watched, these things will affect the value that people are going to place on the green passports. It's really that simple. How have we handled the terrorism that was disturbing this country? Okay, one of the things that the government did was all this, they are giving Boko Haram and Fulani herdsmen amnesty. It came across to the world as us being very, very tolerant to corruption. And so that further brought down our ranking. Right now, Nigeria is ranked number 96. And one of the reasons why we went down is because we're perceived to be people who don't really want to fight corruption. And sorry, who don't want to fight terrorism. And that's not the case. Upon this discovery I did, I now found out that that Nigerian passport, that green booklet, is not even being printed in Nigeria. It's not long the government today making moves to bring back the printing to Nigeria. So why would something as simple as a passport that is a major determinant of our national identity, are you telling me that 200 million of us, there is no one person, no one company that can print a passport for us? That we have to contract something as important as this. It is a component of our national identity, and they are doing it in Malaysia. Yes, that was what I heard, that they were doing it in Malaysia before. Unless now, maybe whether those efforts were successful or not, I'm not even sure. But the Ministry of Interior is trying to see, because it's costing us a lot of money. And as a result of that particular hiccup, it got to a point where there were no passport booklets for the Ministry of Interior to issue people who wanted new passports or who wanted to renew their passports. Okay, all these things, they affect the value that people are going to place on top of the passport. Again, when people enter a country, how do they behave? When the nationals of your country go to another country, how do they behave? This will determine whether you will be welcomed or not. This will determine whether the citizens are going to be welcome or not. All these things, they affect the value of the passport, and that's one of the reasons why Nigeria is cuckoo where it is. And that also is the reason why people who want to travel cannot travel to go and get more knowledge. The consequence is that you see people have to, like, if you want to make a trip, you cannot make an impromptu trip step. You can't stand up and say, it would be a nice idea for me to go to America. It would be a nice idea for me to enter the UK for the weekend and come back. We don't have that luxury because of how our passports is viewed, how everywhere you go, there are visa restrictions. It's either, even if they say the visa is on arrival, you arrive there, then you will be denied the visa. What do? You have to turn back and come back to your country. Okay, these are the consequences of we allowing institutions to become weak. I'm just ranting my own. So now, like this, if I say I want to stand up and go to South Africa, I'll need a visa. And that was how I see my friend. She did not go because she did not start doing the application on time. But a Swedish national now went, fiam, he just stood up, packed his bag, and he went to South Africa. Okay, and that is how it is. One of the most saddening components of this is the fact that Africans are placing all these restrictions on each other too. And I think Nigeria is actually visa-free to most African countries. There was a time Buhari unilaterally opened the borders. He said anybody who wants to come and do business in Nigeria should come and do business. So Nigeria is largely visa-free to a lot of people. But because of all sorts of security concerns, you find that people are afraid to come. So people can take advantage of Nigeria, but we cannot take advantage of them back. Anywhere you go, visa, visa, visa. It's just, life is not fair, honestly speaking. And especially what is happening in that United Arab Emirates, like that. God will fight for us, as to say. And in Nigeria, everything we hand over to God. So yes, this was just a rant that I felt I needed to get off my chest. Yeah, that's just it. It's not fair. The visa regime is not fair. It's not fair that the Nigerian passport is so weak. No, it's not nice at all. And we have to begin to take our country seriously. When we do that, people will take us seriously. Thank you so much for listening to me, all of you who did up till now. I appreciate it. I'll see you all in my next video, and bye.